Всем привет. Сейчас я музычку сделаю на задний фон, и мы начнем. Так, ладно, посмотрите это. Сейчас я проверю кое-что. Может, у меня даже есть еще одно. Сейчас, народ, 5 минут, 5 минут. Подождите. Так, привет, Даня. Небольшие настройки музыки. Так. Пойдет. Хер с ним. Это скоро стрим разрабов. Будем кайфовать. Надеюсь, меня прекрасно слышно и все хорошо видно без багов. Какой придирчивый. Ну и прекрасно. Райден готовит. А. Так, что там приготовить-то надо? Налейте что-то... чистую воду надо. Шо, ну ладно. Нашли, что придумать. Воду им налейте тут. Мне даже нет пачки тут никакой. Ладно. Одно сделал, второе испортил. Да. У меня просто обычно один отряд для мира. Непривычно мне менять отряды между собой. Так, что там у нас есть что-нибудь нормальное? Не Ведем. Ё-моё, сколько. Что там стрим разработчиков еще не начался ли? Увы, ах. Ну, еще 7 минут, в принципе, ждать. Как коды могли выложить, когда еще стрим не начался?
Grasp the button.
Hey! What are you guys up to?
Whoa! You scared me.
Junkichi is trying it out to be,
Mr. Shigeru, can you... People have had all kinds of wishes come true. Become more attractive, get rich quick, ace their studies. I'm just a poor... Anyway.
Didn't you say the same thing?
The Omamori from the shrine. Look at you now.
Wait.
Yep, it's from the one called A First-Hand Guide. No, it's most as a fellow writer.
Look, Junkichi.
What's so surprising?
Why don't we go to the cheesy
Broken heart, tell me if I deserve this feeling. I thought that you know that we had something special till you end up all this way.
Great, you're here.
Just tell me when
Well, hello there, young ones. What brings you to the shrine?
Ну разве она не
Just so
прекрасна?
happens.
Lady Gucci,
It really is.
you two seem to have a good relationship.
Почаще
Here's
бы
what
я
happened.
Мика участвовал в таких
So,
мероприятиях.
since his victory,
You know, there really aren't as many evil spirits. If it were me,
no, Lady.
oh, all right.
Now, yes, Lady Gucci. At our greatest wish.
Wait a minute. Now I'm a little confused.
Well,
Whatever.
what,
Oh dear.
Lady?
Nico, this is really tough.
Okay, fine. Kato,
Ей,
is that hesitation that I detect in
блин,
your
на
voice?
английском, ой, на это,
Whatever Lady Gucci says, I
японскую озвучку, наверное, переключать.
Thank you two for your
Ну
willingness
это,
to
блин,
help.
дополнительные файлы качать. Так лень.
It's a common trope in light novels. Well, besides. All right, let's.
Okay, let's follow Yohei and go visit his brother. What is going on here? Granted,
Мне
it
тоже
can never
бесит.
be quite
Говорю,
clear
надо
what's
на
going on in
японскую не
Gucci's mind.
переключаться.
Oh, she seems even more disinterested
Это
than
дополнительно там
usual in
гигабайта
Yohei's
2 качать.
information.
Кстати, можно сейчас, думаю, сильно не это. Ничего не произойдет плохого. Вспомнить бы, где эти еще озвучки. Язык, да? Язык игры, вот язык озвучки. Китайский, японский, 8. Конечно, больше всего. Хер с ним. Скай качает. Сейчас вот с минуты на минуту должен начаться стрим разработчиков. Будем смотреть, что там в обновлении выходит. Я жду, очень сильно жду всего лишь одного. Чтобы позволить дальше качать это гребаное дерево. Там мне 2 крутки должны дать. Я хочу их. У меня на них как раз таки есть печати. Надеюсь, в игру не надо будет перезаходить. Хотя по-любому придется. Что на мгновение какая-то фигня произошла. Так, вот так и вот так, все. Был микролаг, надеюсь, он прошел. Ну, где стримец-то, алло? Народ, давайте стрим. Ждем, балдеем. Ну, как раз уже загрузилась. Все. Не ждем. Смотрите-ка, у них тут что-то это уже. Как минимум они зашли в сеть. Эфир. Сейчас начнется. Да, ждем-с. Сидим и ждем-с. Блин, проснулся бы я пораньше, я бы сгонял бы в магазин, взял бы водички. Что-нибудь, может, перекусить бы. Эх, ну да ладно. Нас уже он справа Скоромучий приветствует.
That trailer had
они уже
everything. It had
начали.
everything. It had
Надо было просто
action. It
обновить.
had drama. It was lighthearted in
Виноват.
places, but it was dramatic.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm just super stoked for everyone to see Scaramouche's like backstory. I'm super excited about it for reals.
Heck yeah.
Well, speaking
Ну,
of
вроде
that,
ничего не такого интересного
following
не
the story's
пропустил.
development, Scaramouche is still in Nahida's custody.
Про
So,
Скоромучий и
I bet the
Нахиду как раз
question
говорят
everyone's
что-то.
wanting to know is how he'll become the Wanderer.
Yeah, for sure. And there's quite a story behind that. If you're interested, then be sure to play through
Я
the
понял, они,
Archon
короче,
Quest
историю
interlude chapter
рассказывают.
in
То, что
version of
последнее было
Genesis.
в сюжете
There's so much
на
to learn in this quest,
Ой,
so I hope everyone
Сумеру.
Checks it
Когда
out.
Нахида со Скоромучей
Man, you can't just leave
сражались.
everyone hanging like that. How about some hints? Come on, please, please. All right, all
Скоромучий
right.
забавный,
How can I
оказывается,
Say
человечек-то.
no to a cute chibi-ito. Here's a little preview from the quest.
Опа.
We ran into two people at
Дерево.
the Academia
Интересно. Это
today
новая
talking
сюжетка
about an
получается.
essay.
Да, новая
Turns out
сюжеточка
the
будет.
topic was about the Tatarasuna incident.
Кайфово.
From what they were saying, it sounded like lots of Tatarasuna's history is still unexplained. And most of the information we have now is just from people filling the gaps with their imagination. At least that's what they thought.
Так, сделаем.
They guessed right about one thing. Tatarasuna was sabotaged.
Pretty rad.
А я думал,
Why are they
промокод
talking about
первый
Tatarasuna?
скинули.
I guess we'll
Зараза.
have to
Забайтили.
It is interesting, though, to see the Traveler, Nahida, and Scaramouche all together so peacefully like that.
Yeah.
But in this interlude chapter, Nahida will task the Traveler and Paimon with keeping an eye on Scaramouche while we go with him into Irminsul in search of some information.
Oh, interesting. So obviously Nahida must have some reason for deciding to keep Scaramouche around.
Oh yeah, totally. And I'm liking Scaramouche's new style. Ooh, dude's looking sharp.
Heck yeah, always. Nah, right. And at this point, he's known by a completely different name, the Wanderer. I love that name.
Okay, so I know I'm not the only one who's curious about what happened. I mean, it looks like he's really changed a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Ну,
But
короче, они
I'm
говорят,
afraid
то,
that's
что
all we can show
Скрамуч
for
теперь
now.
как странник будет
Travelers will have to
известен.
experience the story for themselves in game. I mean, it's better to explore the storyline without too many spoilers, right?
True.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
А, это не
Okay,
просто
we'll leave
сюжетка,
the
это,
rest for
оказывается,
travelers
квест
to discover
будет.
themselves. But the Wanderer is also going to be a new playable character in version 3.3. So let's talk
Короче,
about that.
рассказывает про
I'm
Скрамуша.
sure many of our viewers are curious about his talents.
Heck yeah, sure thing. Let's have a look at the Wanderer in combat.
There's no need to
Ну,
exchange
как раз сейчас
pleasantries.
показывает его скиллы.
It's rather pathetic to force a conversation.
Показывает, как он в
Just
битве
to
себя показывать
occupy
будет.
silence.
The wind rises. Bow your head.
All right, Patrick, you're up. Help introduce the Wanderer for us.
Sure thing. The Wanderer is a catalyst user and has an animo vision, so he uses wind blades to perform ranged normal attacks.
Wait a second, wind blades?
Not the same as the Traveler's wind blade, though.
Okay.
So, as everyone probably already noticed, the Wanderer can hover in the air when he casts his elemental skill. Upon using his elemental skill, he will first deal AoE damage before leaping into the air and entering a hovering state. So, while hovering, the Wanderer's normal and charge attacks will be converted into Kugo, Fushudan, and Kugu Tofukai respectively. The damage they deal and their AoE will be increased. Their damage will be considered normal and charge attack damage, respectively. Also, Kugu Tofukai will not consume stamina, and he can remain hovering for a certain duration.
That's so awesome. He can fly.
I know, right? But he can't stay hovering forever. While hovering, the Wanderer constantly consumes Kuguryoku points to maintain his hovering state, which is the blue meter you see on the screen. Even if he doesn't move or attack,
В принципе, рассказывают все, что и так было известно. То, что когда летает, он расходует энергию, когда атакует, он расходует энергию, и в полете он не может делать заряженные атаки.
Which all rely on Kuguryoku points rather than stamina. So, for example, sprinting mid-air will consume additional Kuguryoku points to accelerate mid-air. And holding the sprint button will cause persistent point consumption to maintain speed. So this effect will replace his default sprint. Jumping expends extra Kuguryoku points to
Один
increase
промокод уже,
hovering
кстати,
height.
показывали.
Holding jump will cause persistent Kuguryoku point consumption to keep increasing hovering height.
Что я пропустил
Of
один из
course,
промокодов, ну ладно,
running
я
out
потом
of
их найду.
points will end his hovering state.
Oh, okay, so travelers will need to plan their actions while hovering.
Exactly. So, with his talent, Jade Claim Flower, when casting his elemental skill, if it contacts Hydro, Pyro, Cryo, or Electro, that instance of the skill will receive a corresponding buff effect depending on which element was contacted. So, for example, increasing his Kuguryoku points cap, attack, crit rate, or restoring a set amount of energy upon hitting opponents with a normal or charged attack.
Тоже была
The
известная
Wanderer
тема,
can
у
have
него
up to
усиление
2
будет
different kinds of these
зависеть от
buffs
атак
simultaneously.
элементальных твоих союзников. То есть чем он будет заряжен, то и баффить его будет. Крио будет баффить его на шанс крита, там, допустим, Пира на силу атаки, ну и так далее. Это потом уже можно будет разобраться.
It's helpful and still looks really cool.
Yeah.
So, after unlocking another talent, gales of reverie, when the wanderer is in the hovering state, if his normal
как я
or charged
понял, у
attack hits
него
an enemy, there is a set
от
chance to
элемента,
gain
который он
another buff
применяет,
effect,
меняется цвет,
allowing him to sprint
и бафы у
midair
него от
without
4, я
consuming
так понимаю,
Kukuryoku
стихий.
points.
Это гидра,
Additionally,
электро,
this
пира
buff effect will
и
fire wind
крио
arrows to
элементов.
attack the enemy.
Oh, dope. I'm sure extra buff effects like that will go a long way for players when they're in combat.
Yeah, for sure.
Опять же таки, они
And if
сейчас
you
только про
notice, there's
скоромучек
a
как
colorful
рассказывают.
aura of light around his body to indicate when that buff effect is triggered.
I saw that.
That's pretty cool. I love all the detail they've put into the Wanderer.
All right, this brings us to the Wanderer's elemental burst.
Sweet.
Yay!
So, check this out. Upon unleashing his burst, he compresses the atmosphere and stomps it down toward the enemy. So, travelers should note that if the Wanderer is in a hovering state when he unleashes his burst, then the hovering state will end and he will begin descending after the burst is completed.
Okay, this
Ульта
stomping
выглядит
animation
мощной,
is a
но
little aggressive.
Yeah, but it's
лишь на
cool.
урон.
I know, and it actually
Цифры
suits
мы
his
не видим,
character.
поэтому нельзя
Yeah, I
сказать
can't help
точно,
but agree.
будет ли она сильная или нет.
Wait. Let's not forget about the exploration talent.
Ah, yes. This is an interesting one. The Wanderer can decrease the
катализатор
mora
его
required when
накрыть дамаг.
ascending bows and catalysts.
Hey,
40
now, you can never
уровень.
complain about saving Mora. Am I right?
Okay,
Huh?
that's true. All right, now that we've
Кстати,
seen the Wanderer,
прокачивается он
let's
дешево.
move on to the next new character. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Yay!
What did you say?
О, а
I'm
это
old
наша
now, so every other
четырехзвездочная.
phrase escapes my ears.
Саппорт для
Try calling
Сяо
me
и
Madam
для нового
Farzan.
нашего
And I'll see if I can
каталиста.
pick that up. Huh? What is it that you would like to learn more about? Different forms of pressure-based puzzle mechanisms?
Про нее я
The
тоже
base
много
layer
чего
design of
знаю.
elemental monuments?
В особенности то, что ее ульта
Did
очень
you forget to
хороша,
call me
потому
Madam
что именно
Farzan
она
just now when you
бафает
asked your
и
question?
дебафает,
Whoa. What?
так сказать,
There's
бафает
nothing
нас и
wrong with being
дебафает
afraid of
противников.
thunder, even at an older
Нет, но она
age.
очень хорошая, она саппорт
She's
будет.
sassy.
При этом
Yeah,
она
smart
лучница.
She seems so awesome.
She's fun.
I wonder what her skirt's made
I
out
know,
of.
her design is so cool and really detailed. I love it.
So, even though she looks super young, she's actually an old person? Like, where's my teeth?
Well, she's not that old.
Oh, right.
Could've fooled me.
Farazan's age is probably still nothing compared to Scaramouche.
Mm-hmm. But let's call him the Wanderer, Sarah. Please.
Okay, you know who I meant. Actually, now that I think about it, yokai can also live a really long time too.
That's right, yeah, no, and speaking of age, isn't the Traveler's age also kind of mysterious?
That's true. It looks like all of our characters are intriguing. But it's safe to say that Farazan is way older than most people in Teyvat. Farazan works in the Academia's Haravatat Darshan and has been a hairbod, which roughly means mentor, for over a century.
So, I bet everyone out there is wondering if she's also some kind of creature blessed with long life, you know? Like Klee?
No, she's actually just your regular, typical human being.
Oh.
Well, maybe not so typical. About 100 years ago, Farazan was an undisputed genius, traveling all around Sumero and solving many puzzles and mysteries. The notes she left behind eventually became the basis of mechanical research for later generations.
Whoa, she sounds pretty amazing.
But later, she accidentally stumbled into some ruins while trying to solve a puzzle. There, she encountered some strange phenomenon which stopped her from aging, and was trapped there for nearly 100 years.
Woo!
She eventually solved the puzzle and was able to finally return to Sumeru.
Can you imagine being trapped in a puzzle for 100 years? Wait. So that's how she's been hairbod for over a century?
Yeah. And even now, she
Короче,
still
ей
has the
историю
pride of a scholar
рассказывает.
in her heart and is a very talented person. It's just that after being separated from the world for so long, she's kind of fallen behind the times now.
Oh,
Как
hey,
понимаю,
I get
она
what you mean.
бабушка у нас.
She was once a proud researcher in a niche field that has become unpopular after 100
100
years.
лет пробыла
So, is she still
в
completely
подземелье,
dedicated to her field?
которая остановила
Yep,
время
and she
внутри
often
этого
tries using her
подземелья,
old
пока она не
age as a
решила
means of
загадку.
drumming up support for her ideas. However, I think she'd prefer to be complained about for using her seniority rather than garnering sympathy for her experience of being trapped in the ruins.
Yeah, sounds like she's quite the character.
I know, right? Okay, so now that we've covered her backstory, why don't we take a look at Faruzan's abilities in combat?
Let's do it.
Fight, fight, fight,
Ну,
fight.
история мне интересна. А вот Ита у нас как раз
100 years have passed.
просит
Yet there hasn't
показать
been
ее.
any change to those dumb rules at the academia. Dare to mess with me?
Ей дали бесструнный. Ну, в принципе, не мастерство стихий. Как подобает для аниме-персонажа.
I love all the geometric shapes when she's playing. Did you guys see that?
Yes, there's so much geometry, and I took geometry.
It looks so cool.
Ah, yeah.
So Faruzan is an animo character, and she wields a bow as her weapon. Her normal attacks are the usual bow attacks you'd expect from a bow user, so there's not too much to say about that. But her skills are where things get interesting. Her elemental skill deploys a polyhedron that deals damage to enemies. After using her skill, her next aimed shot will become a special attack that creates a vortex, pulling nearby objects and opponents in.
Oh, nice. So she can clump enemies together.
And there's also another thing about her special charged attack. It will create a vortex effect at its point of impact. And if the attack hits an enemy or ally member,
Короче,
it'll
Ешка
apply a
помогает
mark
ей
and create a
стягивать
vortex
заряженные
after a short
атаки.
delay.
Okay. So it looks like there will be a lot of potential uses for this attack. Travelers will have to experiment with it and see what they come up with.
Yeah, I think it'd be amazing to try hitting teammates with the arrow in co-op mode and have them charge into the
Короче, это
enemies to group them
идеальный
all
саппорт
together.
для
I'll have
НМДД.
to see who wants to try that with me. After unlocking the talent Impetuous Flow, the time required for
Те, у
fully
кого
charging
имеется
Faruzan's
сяо,
next
или
shot will
те,
be
кто будет
reduced,
выбивать
and the
скоромучи,
arrow
им
will reduce
обязательно
the
нужен
target enemy's animo
этот
resistance.
саппорт для
In her
ДД,
elemental burst,
потому что
she
она
deploys
делает
a
все.
dazzling polyhedron
Заливает
and
энергию,
releases a whirlwind
усиливает,
pulse.
ослабляет
Throughout its duration,
противников,
the dazzling
дает
polyhedron
некоторые
will
бафы.
continuously move
То есть
along a
без
triangular
нее
path. Once it reaches
НМДД
each corner of that triangular
будет не
path,
так
it
много
will
давать,
unleash
как
one
с ней.
more whirlwind pulse.
Yeah, 1 minute she's here, the next she's polygon for 100 years.
Тем временем мы ждем второй промокод. Все, есть, да, под сяо поставить ее тоже будет классно.
It was pretty
All
funny.
right. Anyway, let's hear what effects these whirlwind pulses have.
Sure. When the whirlwind pulse hits opponents, it will decrease their animo resistance. It will also apply an animo damage buff
как раз
effect to all
показывает
nearby
сяо.
party members when it's unleashed. Travelers should note that the effective range of this buff is quite large, and it's not just within the whirlwind pulse itself, so there's no need to go chasing the polyhedron. After unlocking her talent, Lost Wisdom of the Seven Caverns, when a team member uses normal, charged, or plunging attacks, elemental skills, or elemental bursts to deal animo damage
Вот
to an
теперь
enemy,
скромучи
the
показывает
damage will
ее.
increase based on Faruzan's base attack. This effect can only be triggered once for a certain duration of time.
Oh, so it seems she'll be the solid support.
Yeah.
Totally! And as a researcher of mechanics and puzzles,
Опа.
Faruzan has taken it upon herself to explore
Задание
many
новое,
ruins,
что ли?
with her travels
А,
taking her all across
Они
Sumero.
наконец
Her
добавят,
exploration
чтобы
talent
можно было
reflects this.
отправлять.
And she gains more rewards when dispatched on a Sumero
Я
expedition
понял.
for 20 hours.
I'm
Это
sure
ее
no other
пассивка,
mentor in
короче.
Haravatat
Такое
has 100
себе.
years of
Я думал,
experience in
типа она
solving
будет тоже
puzzles.
там
Yeah, I gotta say,
возвращать
it's
за
pretty
луки
hard to
какие-то.
beat. So, the big question is, when can travelers expect to get these new
Ну,
characters?
короче, ее в огород
That
надо
is a
будет
good
отправлять или в
question.
этот.
Let's talk about the upcoming
Шахты.
event wishes. In the early part of
На
version
Сидзюка.
3.3, the Wanderer and Arataki Ito will be available via their own event wishes. Faruzan will also be making her debut in
Привет,
these event
Спак.
wishes.
Я
In
Геншин
the later
Стрим,
part of version
стрим
3.3,
разработчиков
we'll be
идет.
seeing rerun event wishes for both the Raiden Shogun and Kamisato Ayato.
Ха-ха-ха,
And last
Райден.
but not least, the new 5-star catalyst, Tule Tule's Remembrance, will be appearing in a new weapon event wish.
And that's not all. In version 3.3, 2 brand new artifact
каплю
series
на
will
Райден.
become available. So travelers should be sure to check out the corresponding domain.
Сигнатурочка.
Woo, more artifacts!
All right.
Мы
I
ее
hope
видели.
travelers will have fun
А,
experimenting
о,
and trying new
новые
combinations with
эти
these.
артефакты.
Okay, we've already talked about a ton of new content, so why don't we take a quick break with
Это,
another
видимо, для
redemption
странника
code?
артефакты
Sounds
будут.
good. Roll out the code.
Woohoo!
О, второй промокод.
Welcome back to the version 3.3 special program. Okay, Patrick, what do we have next?
So next, we'll be covering the upcoming events
Решил
for the new
промокод
version.
сюда выписать.
That's right, we've already mentioned the Test of Courage event, and I'm sure
Ну, это
plenty
будет
of you were
удобно.
wondering about that, so let's start there.
Aha! You must be here to participate in the Test of Courage. I can already see a dark aura surrounding the two of you. If you carelessly go running into the event,
Пошло
all it'll take is
дело.
one little misstep, and the darkness will swallow you up. Some strange and unusual things may occur along the way. If you ever feel you can't handle it, you may withdraw from the event at any
Ну,
time.
нифига себе.
This is your last chance.
Что за хорроры
I'll count
пошли?
it down. 3, 2, 1.
Это еще и в
Welcome to the
Инадзуме.
test of courage. Enter at your own risk.
That was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it
А,
is
ну
a
это,
test of
короче,
courage,
новое
so I'm
это.
sure there'll be some scary stuff
Новый
going on there.
ивент,
I ain't
где
scared.
будет
Anyway,
одноручный
to
меч
successfully
новый,
clear this event, we'll be facing a series of little tests.
где главным героем
What's
будет, я
this?
так понимаю,
Tests,
Ита.
you
Только
say?
вопрос,
Yes,
почему
that's right.
главный герой
Word
Ита,
has it
а
that if you walk
оружие
around the
это
test of courage,
одноручный
you might
меч,
find
когда
yourself
Ита твой рук.
encountering a special sort of
Это,
game.
конечно, непонятно.
We've already got the rules down, so I'll do a quick introduction. Basically, travelers will have to control a bouncing bar to bounce a ball and use skill ball effects to break as many bricks as possible.
Okay, I'm liking this one. Seems
Ah.
pretty straightforward.
During the game,
Интересно, как.
travelers will be able to trigger elemental reactions to break bricks more effectively.
Nice!
Я в шоке.
It even has elemental reactions.
Yeah, we can control the character to move the bar. When the character we're using is either pyro, hydro, cryo, or electro, the corresponding element will be applied to the bar.
Ну, теперь нам
By
будет
switching
явно чем
characters, you can
заняться.
change the element of the bar.
Okay, all the pieces are falling in place now. The bar can infuse a certain element, and the blocks also have their own elements.
Сейчас
So
я
causing a
сделаю
skill ball
всё.
of one element to hit blocks of different elements will trigger elemental reactions. There, how'd I do?
Yep, you nailed it. The bar will add the element corresponding to your character. Besides triggering reactions the way you just mentioned, if a skill ball is already infused by an element and it hits the bar, it will also trigger a reaction, causing the skill ball to have some additional effects. When preparing your team, you can equip modifiers to receive various buff effects, which will help you successfully clear the challenge.
Oh, nice.
Also, when there are less than a certain amount of bricks on the board and the ball lands another hit, the bar will unleash fireworks.
Whoa, cool.
Yeah. Travelers can utilize this effect to break some bricks that would normally be difficult to hit directly.
It's like a bonus attack.
Так, делаем.
Yeah. So, travelers
Это
will need to
промокоды.
select characters of the right elements, equip the
закрепляем.
appropriate modifiers, and use different
Всё,
elemental
два промокода
reactions to break
закреплено.
bricks and score more
Это
points.
And
промокоды
then travelers will
для
be able to
получения
use their
примагемов
points
в
to
игре.
exchange for rewards in the event shop, correct?
That's right. Also, travelers will have the option of teaming up and playing the event together in co-op mode.
Oh, looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, super fun.
Yeah, in addition to this minigame, the Test of Courage storyline will also contain more challenges. Travelers will even have a chance to meet with some good friends again, so be sure to check out this new event. All right, let's move on to our next event.
Okay, so next up, we have a race event called Across the Wilderness. Your objective, collecting balloons.
Woo!
I don't know, seems like the Wanderer's abilities might come
еще
in real
какой-то
handy
ивент.
here.
I know, right?
А мы еще
So,
ждем карточную
in this
игру,
event,
которую
each
они
stage
обещали
will
нам.
have wilderness balloons scattered all around. Travelers will need to find as many wilderness balloons as possible within the time limit to earn increasingly better rewards. So during the challenge, travelers will be able to utilize their character's skills and talents. So it'll be important to assemble the right team depending on the traits and terrain of the challenge area.
А, это еще и в
Oh,
разных регионах
interesting.
будет.
Yeah,
То
so
есть
travelers
в
can also use
Манштате,
something
по
called the
Льюэ.
Wilderness Compass to obtain various buffs, which include enhanced jumping
Короче, они,
capabilities,
как всегда, что-то
increased
новое
movement
изобретают.
speed, or unlimited stamina.
Сейчас это может
etc.
кажется
However, you
интересно,
can
а потом
only
будем
claim
играть
one
и
buff during
фигней
each
окажется.
challenge. You must consume blessed energy to use the compass and gain the selected buff. You may charge the compass up by finding wilderness balloons or interacting with blessed energy in the challenge. or you can always wait for the compass to passively charge over time.
Yo, this event looks pretty crazy. It's almost like watching parkour.
Yeah, there are 2 different kinds of wilderness balloons in these challenges. The first is harvest balloons, which will increase the overall progress of your search for wilderness balloons. The other kind is sonar balloons, which will cause several harvest balloons to appear around you for a set amount of time.
That's awesome.
So there will be 5 stages available for this event, and travelers will need to consider the conditions and terrain of each stage to come up with the best way to complete it. Also, travelers may team up in co-op mode for challenges.
Ooh, more chances to play together. I love it.
Yeah, same. Okay, let's move on to our next event.
Everyone's favorite game of hide and seek is back with the Wind Race event.
Так, это
And of
еще
course,
один
this
ивент,
is
да?
going to be
Да,
another
это еще
co-op
один
event,
ивент.
and I, for one, am super excited for it.
Много ивентов будет
Nothing
у
like a
нас.
good co-op. Many of you might already be familiar with this event by now, but there have been a few changes. Let me introduce what travelers can expect to see this time around. We can probably skip some of the basics this time. You know, players either hide or seek. And then...
Okay, wait a second. There actually might be some new travelers out there who've never seen this event before. So why don't you start with some of the basics?
Да,
Right,
ждем
good point.
Херсон,
Okay,
Геншина.
let's start at the beginning then. This is a game with a long history in Mondstadt. Travelers will be split into 2 different sides, the rebels and the hunter. You will need to use skills and master the art
прятки.
of
Они
hiding
добавляют
or
прятки.
chasing down others to win
Они
this
снова
event.
возвращают
The
прятки.
goal
Это
of the
хорошо.
hunter is
Это
to
единственный
capture all
ивент,
the
который мне
rebels,
реально
while the
понравился.
rebels run or use other means to keep themselves from getting caught by the hunter.
Okay, that's straightforward enough. So, what else you got for us?
Well, some travelers may remember playing as the
Прятки это
rebels and
вещь.
getting
Прятки
caught
это
early in the
классно.
game. Once that would happen, all you could do was spectate and watch the rest as the others continue playing. But this time around, once you're caught, you'll still be able to participate in the match even in observer mode.
А, что? Он
Yeah, it's
невидимкой
pretty
может
cool.
стать?
Once you're in observer mode, you can't be seen by other players and will receive the illusory beacon skill. This skill will allow you to place a random beacon to confuse the hunter. If your beacon successfully tricks the hunter and is destroyed, then the hunter will suffer an obscured vision effect.
So even after you've been captured, you can be like a little ghost, trying to help your teammates by
что?
disrupting the hunter.
Yeah.
That's pretty fun. And at least you won't have to sit there and just watch the rest of the match anymore.
Exactly, but what does the hunter get this time? I mean,
Типа
we
он
gotta keep
может
it fair.
обманки
Some new windward
оставлять.
arts have been added for both the hunter and the rebels. The hunter will now be able to use the hunter's net. This net can be thrown and will remove any rebel disguises within its range, and will notify the hunter that a rebel was detected. If a beacon is caught in the net, it will be destroyed, and the hunter will
Это
not
типа
suffer
обман,
from
потому что
obscure
так
vision.
повлияет. А обманка
Nice.
никого не покажет.
So
Ну,
I guess
понятно.
if you love playing hunter, you'll
Это
probably
логично.
love this.
Oh yeah, you definitely should. The skill rebels used in previous versions of the game to place beacons can now only be used by players in observer mode.
А он типа стан
However,
поймал?
the rebels will be able to
что?
use an all-new concealing beacon skill. This skill will allow you to deploy a beacon for a set duration and remain invisible while you're around that beacon. All players, including your
не
rebel
очень
teammates,
понятно,
will be
но что-то
unable
новое
to
они
see you
ввели.
while you're invisible. If the concealing beacon is destroyed by the hunter, then the hunter will have their vision obscured for a short time. Sounds pretty fun, huh?
Yeah.
Ну,
Yeah,
тех,
so
кого
even
поймали,
if you end
мешает,
up being
думаешь?
captured by the hunter at the start of the game,
Ну, в
you'll
принципе,
still
да,
be able to
да, скорее
participate
всего,
and
так оно и
assist your
есть, да.
teammates. And, did I
Ты
mention
прав.
primo gems and
Ну, это
other
прикольно. Это
rewards?
значит, когда тебя
The
поймали,
good
тебе не
stuff.
надо там
So be sure to check it out.
выходить из игры или сидеть
Oh,
смотреть
that's awesome.
других ищет. Ты
Seriously, I
можешь
can't wait to
поучаствовать в
play
этом.
with
Это
friends.
прикольно сделать. Это
Okay,
хорошее
our
дополнение.
next event is a combat-based event.
Time for some combat!
Whoop, whoop.
In a forbidden place warded by dust and sand,
Еще одно.
mysterious foes have assembled lines of
А это у нас что
fortifications
такое?
to stop your coming.
Ooh.
That's right, a new edition of Misty Dungeon will arrive in version 3.3. Stoked.
Sweet.
But this time around, there will be a total of 7 trials with different themes awaiting you in the Misty Dungeon.
Dungeon.
Each has a different ley line disorder, and
Что с
travelers
dungeon
will have to
связано?
adjust their
Ага,
teams
всё
according to
понятно.
the disorder's effects and the distribution of enemies. There will also be trial characters for you
Ты
to select from
выбираешь
as well.
отряд и с этим отрядом
After
проходишь
entering the
дальше.
domain, travelers will need to go and complete 3 challenges to collect ancient runes. After collecting power from 3 ancient runes, we can power up the control array and
Ну,
proceed to
это
the final challenge.
такое я еще не видел.
Also, throughout the trial, additional
Это может быть
benediction
интересно.
mechanisms and challenges will appear. Travelers may choose to interact with these to increase the leyline disorder's effects or revive and heal your team.
You know, if it were up to me,
Да,
I'd say
двух
just go
аккаунтов
for all
я
the
проходить
challenges.
это не смогу.
I know,
Но
but
учитывая то, что это
travelers should
будет в
keep in
разное
mind
время,
that the challenge
кто его
objective for
знает.
each trial might be different. So be sure to check the objective and aim for that while proceeding. In terms of rewards, travelers can look forward to winning primo gems and other various prizes.
Yes. Ooh, I like prizes.
And last but not least, version 3.3 will also have leyline overflow events. Travelers can look forward to saving their resin and earning more Mora and experience books.
Nice. That's awesome. That'll be great for all the travelers out there still
экстра
leveling up
награды.
all their new
Ясно.
characters. And even
Это
if you don't
мне
need those
интересно.
resources now, it's always good to stock up and have
Я их
more on
почти не
hand. Am I
прохожу
right?
толком.
Yeah.
Поэтому
So,
как бы
travelers
не
looking to
особо
upgrade
интересно
their
это дело
characters
мне.
won't want to miss this.
Yeah, I mean, this is all good stuff.
In addition to the new version's limited time events, version 3.3 will
карточная
also
игра,
be
вот
adding
она.
a new permanent game
наш
mode called
Hearthstone.
Genius Invocation TCG.
Genius Invocation TCG!
But before we get into that, let's take another quick break and enjoy a redemption code! Yay!
Slap that code on the screen!
А вот третий промокод. Ну, как раз 3 промокода есть. Так. Я его записал. Так, проблемка есть. Я это все добро немножечко не сохранил.
Welcome back, everyone.
Ладно, сейчас заново
During our
напишем.
journey into VAT, we've stumbled across several NPCs talking about a game called Genius Invocation TCG. So next, we'll introduce this card game that's been taking to VAT by storm. In the version 3.1 special program, we already revealed that Genius Invocation TCG will be a card game where we can challenge various characters and NPCs or battle against your friends. But there is actually a legend behind this game. It is said that a young guy in Sumero found an ancient casket of tomes in the attic. He opened it and discovered that the soul of an ancient TCG player called the Crocodile King had been captured inside.
What a name.
It turns out that the Crocodile King was King Deshret's viceroy, who battled an opponent named the Ibis King. During the match, the Crocodile King fell prey to his opponent's scheme and was sealed away in the casket of tomes.
Ouch, game
Так,
over.
промокоды я скинул.
After being unexpectedly
закрепил.
released by the kid, the Crocodile King possesses him and helps him to
Пользуйтесь, не забывайте
gradually
писать.
climb the ranks to becoming a legendary TCG player.
Nice. Hang on, is it just me, or does that kind of sound like the plot to a light novel or something?
You're right. It turns out that Yai Publishing House is about to release a hit light novel series based on Genius Invocation TCG.
Okay, now this is starting to sound like a plug for Yai Publishing House.
Maybe. But anyway, that's the legend on how Genius Invocation TCG came to be. Though it's probably just a story they came up with for marketing the game.
So while you were telling us about the story,
сейчас
I was
будет
over here
показывать, как
researching
играть
the
в
rules
нее
to
или
the
что.
game. Basically, Genius Invocation TCG is a
Да,
game
ща-
where you use a
типа, можно
constructed
будет
deck of cards
сыграть с
to
каждым
duel against an opponent. The
искателем,
objective
да. Ну, короче,
is to
можно
defeat
будет
all of your
находить
opponent's character
этих
cards.
That's right.
Also,
ботов и
there are many
играть с ними.
features and mechanics in the game that resonate with Genshin Impact's gameplay,
Ой, как
so
красиво
it
всё
shouldn't
это
be too hard
работает.
for players to get the hang of.
Right, I even saw some elemental
Ну да,
reactions in the gameplay.
Hearthstone.
Yup, a constructed deck must contain character cards. And as you might expect, these character cards have a normal attack, an elemental skill, and an elemental burst. So when a character card deals elemental damage to an enemy, it will cause them to be affected by that element. Then you can switch to a character card of a different element and use their abilities to trigger an elemental reaction.
Wait, did you guys notice that there are even monster character cards? Can we even make a deck of, like, just the monsters from the game?
You're really getting into this, Max.
Heck yeah, I am! I like card games!
Who doesn't?
Классно, очень классно.
So
мне
in
нравится.
Genius Invocation TCG,
Это еще
all
такое?
actions require you to spend elemental dice. Each round, both you and your opponent will roll 8 elemental dice. Each of these elemental dice can have any one of 8 elemental attributes.
За
Hold
кубики.
on, but there's only 7 elements in the world of Teyvat.
You're right. So in addition to the 7 standard elements, there's also one called the Omni element. The elemental dice required for a character card to perform an action correspond to the character's
это
element.
будет потом
So,
понятно,
for
видимо.
example, a pyro character
вот
like
не очень
D-Luke
понятно.
needs either pyro or omni elemental dice to perform an action. Clear now?
Yep, crystal clear.
Also, elemental dice can be used to switch characters or play a variety of other cards, such as equipment cards, event cards, and support cards. All these cards create the potential for a
Типа
variety
говорят,
of
что есть разные
strategies.
виды
Right.
карт
While
и
playing Genius
саппортовские
Invocation
карты.
TCG, travelers can earn player experience, which will increase your player level. As your level increases, you'll be
Даже с
able to
котом, что ли,
challenge more
сыграть можно
characters
будет?
and NPCs. By completing challenges,
Или,
you may
это
earn lucky
левел
coins,
свой
new
качать.
cards, or other
Вот,
rewards.
типа, чем больше
Lucky
играешь, тем
coins
больше
can be
левел, чем больше
exchanged
левел,
in the
тем
event
больше ты
shop for
можешь...
cards, or can even unlock
Тем больше ты
dynamic
будешь
skins for
получать
certain cards.
всяких
Dynamic
примагемов, а как ты
skins?
открываешь
Those are
тем,
cards
что
that
ты
have moving
играешь,
illustrations,
получаешь
right?
монеты и
That's right.
покупаешь их.
All character cards can
Это
unlock
классно,
a
это
dynamic
прям,
skin.
это круто.
After unlocking that, there'll
очень.
even be a cool bonus animation whenever you cast that character's elemental burst.
Игра в игре.
And if you're confident in your TCG
Огонь.
skills, you can also invite a friend to duel. After reaching a high enough player level,
Даже с
you'll
Дионой
even
будет
unlock a
сражение.
matchmaking.
это
So be sure to give it a try.
против
Travelers
другого
should
игрока, я
note
так
that playing
понимаю.
against your friends
Типа
or other
онлайновская.
travelers won't count towards any leaderboards or provide any rewards. So you can
Да,
relax.
да, это против
all just
других
for
игроков.
fun.
Уже против реальных игроков.
Okay, that's everything we have for Genius Invocation TCG, and that brings us to
Но
the end of today's
награда
special
больше
program.
получается победа над
So, what
ботами,
did you
а
think?
не
Why do
а не над
it have to
игроками.
be over? There's so much that this version has to offer.
Yeah, I can't even take it all in right now. I'm just super stoked to be part of this. I think I just gained some Kuguryoku points just doing this whole thing, so.
Man, the new characters look cool.
I know, what about Scaramouche hovering? Like, that's
I
insane.
know, that's awesome.
That's super dope.
That's awesome, and I cannot wait to play in some of these events and mini games. I'm super excited. This was so fun. I'm really glad that we got to do the special program together.
I'm so happy I got to come back for another special program. This is my 3rd time being on one of these, and I can't wait for number 4. I'm counting.
I'm so happy. This is my first one, so thank you for having me.
Doesn't it feel good?
Yes,
Doesn't
I
it feel
feel
good to
honored
feel
to be here.
special?
Seriously, I'm
Do
just
you
like-
feel special?
I really do. Thank you.
Well, I think this is the end of our special program. So I hope everyone enjoyed it, and we'll see you in game. Okay, bye!
Bye.
Bye,
Все,
everybody.
тут
Bye,
прощение.
everyone.
Видимо, стрим закончился на этом. В принципе, не показали того, что я ожидал, но неплохо. Так, народ, я тут отходил. Сейчас небольшой перерыв будет, получасовой, и мы продолжим играть. Промокоды все есть, стрим не заканчиваю, просто ставлю на паузу. Так что просто дождитесь.